Thanks. A Springfield man pleaded guilty last Wednesday to charges related to the theft and transportation of stolen catalytic converters and the sale of stolen catalytic converters to core buyers in other states. Jose Torres, 37, pleaded guilty to an indictment charging him with conspiracy to transport stolen property in interstate commerce, interstate transportation of stolen property, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. You might remember Torres and 6 other men were arrested in April as they were part of a ring connected to the theft, transportation, and sale of stolen catalytic converters from more than 470 vehicles.